Hello and welcome. Now we are going to take a look at how we can use Google search terms in order to find different views of the same information and yet access the database in different ways to get different points of view and in some cases more limited information and in some cases more detailed information. So traditionally, if we had a search term such as dog training, we would scroll down through the local results and we'd see at least 10 results that we could use. Now, Google Advanced Search allows us to use different operators and different terms so that we would be able to use the very same words, dog training, yet find different information. So in this particular case, we would take some of the operators like quotations, and we would find that the search would be absolutely different, even in local results. So we're going to take a look at some of these operators as well as take a look at some of the other sites that we can take different views of the same information. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to take a look at the search operators quotation marks. And so when we start with the term, and let's use the term low carb dieting, you're going to get a certain number of results. One thing that we can do is we can add quotations to the beginning and end of the entire set of search terms. And what we're telling Google to do is to look for this term in particular or these three words together. And so what we're going to do now is we'll notice that we've got 661,000 results. We're now going to use just that term. And you'll notice that we have narrowed down the results significantly to 93,400, and we have a more defined set of terms. So the very first thing that you'll want to do is you'll want to use quotation marks as your search limitation. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now another way to do a search is when you're not quite sure of all of the words that go in between a particular multi-word keyword, then you'll want to do what's called a wildcat search. And you can do a wildcat search by using the asterisk. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the term as it is. You'll see that right now it's giving us 11 million results. We are going to now change this to an asterisk. We're going to put the asterisk at the beginning. I'm going to put the asterisk at the end. And then we're actually going to then hit send. You'll notice that the results increase because what we're doing is we're widening the search and we're saying to Google, we're not quite certain if those are all of the right words in between. So what it tries to do is it tries to give a wider net and a wider set of results. And what you're going to see is that you're going to have a different set of the first 10 results in actuality to look through. So again, when you don't know quite what the terms are or you're not quite certain of them, use a wildcat search and the asterisks. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to take a look at using the minus command. And we use the minus command when we want to tell Google we want to look for the term that we've placed in the search bar, but we want you to exclude a certain popular term or a certain term that we think would cloud the results. So in this particular case, we're going to go with the term low carb dieting, but we're going to use the minus sign, and then we're going to put in another term. And then we're going to hit enter. Now what you'll find is that you have some advertisements, but once you actually go past the advertisements, you're actually going to be able to go past into the set of results, and the set of results that we have will not have the term that we placed behind the minus. So this is a good way of getting another view without certain terms at a glance. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You are now looking at Google search, and you'll notice that what's written in the search box is the word ngram, N-G-R-A-M. And if you click that link, the very first result, it's going to take you to Google Ngram Viewer. Now what Google Ngram Viewer does is it shows you the popularity of a phrase in published books from 1800 to 2000. And so what it does is it really gives you an indication of how popular an idea really is. Now, in Google Ngram Viewer, one of the things that you will want to know is that search terms are case sensitive. So that if you write in a search term and you put in a capital letter, it's going to give you a different result than if you put in one with lowercase letters. For example, if we were to write in the word orange and we were to search books from 1800 to 2000, we would see one term. However, if we were to change this term to one with capital letters, we're going to see a totally different trend. And so this is a good way of being able to get insight on the popularity of a term. Now, this is one of those cases where if you start using modifiers, you're going to find different search results. So if you were to take your cheat sheet and you were to use some of the modifiers, you'll see a totally different term if we were to subtract all of the instances where there was Florida. So what we did was we looked at the term orange without the term Florida with it. Now, if you wanted to use the chart in your marketing, one of the things that you can do is you can actually embed the chart. So in this particular case, what we're going to do is we're going to click Embed Chart. That's going to give you an HTML code that you can actually cut and copy and put inside of your website. And you'll see the chart now posted here inside of a website. So every individual chart that you actually put together, you can actually embed that chart in a website. And when you're looking at Ngram Viewer, if you go into the About tab, one of the things you're going to discover is that Google Ngram actually has its own set of search terms. And so you want to make sure that not only are you using the search operators that were discussed in the first video, but that you also look specifically at those that are going to work inside of Google Ngram search. Now, although the search is limited to 2000, you can actually limit the search even more if you want to write in a smaller subset. In this particular case, you'll see a different trend line. You can look at those trend lines here at the bottom in these links. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We are now going to look at the piping command. And the piping command functions the very same way as another term that we could use, which would be the OR command. And what we do is we actually put in a pipe, which is a straight line inside of our search results, and then we're going to put in another similar term. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell Google, look for low-carb dieting or keto, and it's going to bring us back the most relevant results. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to hit send, and you're going to notice a certain number of results. Now, what would happen if we took the pipe out? Would we get different results? And you'll notice that we do. In fact, we get 4 times as many. So using the pipe is a way of saying OR to the search operator and then giving us a more defined set of results. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We are now going to look at the range operator command. And in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to modify low-carb dieting. Now, the range command doesn't have to be used along with another search term. It works all by itself. But we're going to exemplify this by writing in the term 2015. And then we're going to use the range command, which is basically 1 period, then 2 periods. And then we're going to write in here 2017. And basically what we're doing is we're looking for search results that fall between this range. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click this link. And again, you're going to get a different set of results. Now we could change this. We could do something that would be 7 to 30, and then we could write days. And so you'll get all kinds of ranges, 7, 8, 23, anything numerical to modify your search within this range. So again, it's a great way of being able to limit your numerical choices if you're going to put them in the search bar. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now, another way to narrow down your search results is to use parentheses. And what you can do is you can actually group terms together, and you can group specific search commands together. So for example, we could place parentheses around 7 to 30 days. We can also put search parentheses around low-carb dieting. And what we would do is we would write in the AND command, and then we would see different results. It's another way of bringing more relevant information depending on how well you know what your search parameters should be. Of course, once again, when you're guessing, you should be using the asterisk sign. But again, when you have multiple terms, you can actually use the parentheses around the terms that you are certain about. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now we are going to look at the AND command. And what we are telling Google when we use the AND command is to only bring back results if we put in the terms that have everything that we put around the AND command. Now when you do this, you must use the AND the AND has to be capitalized. So all of the letters have to be capitalized, and we then must write in the second term. So everything that's going to come back will actually come back. We'll only have sites with these two results in it. So we're going to actually go ahead and hit enter. And you'll notice then that all of the results are relevant and they have both terms together. So this is a great way of being able to combine ideas, but to only bring back those sites or those results that have all of the ideas involved. We can actually add in a third term. What you'll notice is that the results get smaller because we're saying only bring back the sites with all of these terms together in the same site. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You can actually restrict your search based on the file type. And in order to do that, you're going to put in a certain search command, and the command is file type with a colon. Once you've done that, what you'll do is you'll put in the file extension that you actually want Google to actually search for. And the only results that Google will bring back will be those results that have the file type that you are looking for. In this particular case, we are looking for PDFs, so we're going to go ahead and click enter. And so you'll notice then that the only results that come back are going to be PDFs. So if you're looking for PowerPoint, you can do that. Maybe you're looking for the old PowerPoint. Or you can even look for a Microsoft Word document. So as long as you know the file type, you can actually limit your search by that file type by writing in file type, colon, and then the file type you are looking for. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We can actually limit our search to finding the term that we're looking for, but only within a certain site. So for example, we're looking for the term low-carb dieting. But we could specify and we could say we only wanted to find low-carb dieting within a certain site. So we'll want to place the word site, then colon, and then we may want to put the site in there. In this particular case, we could use ebay.com. We'll click enter, and the only results that are going to come back are going to be those from ebay.com. And we can actually do that with any top-level domain as long as we have the site term that we want and then the site that we are looking for. We could change this to Amazon. And you'll see that the only results that are going to come back are going to be those from Amazon. So what you're telling Google basically is, go to the site that I specify and then find my search terms. It's a handy way of being able to locate items or locate terms within a specific site. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. One way to use the search engine is to find sites that are going to be related to the one that you are actually doing research on. So in this particular case, if we were to write in the site Atkins.com, we would actually find that all of the results would be focused around the site, as it should be. However, what we could also do is we could also use a search parameter called related. And we're going to write in related and then colon. And we're not going to leave any spaces behind the colon. And once we have that written in, we're going to hit enter. And what's going to happen is we're going to get relevant results to Atkins.com. So if you're looking to do research to find out what sites are like Atkins.com when it comes to the information that they have on their site, you can use the related colon, just making sure that there is no space between the colon and the site that you are going to be looking for. You don't have to put the HTTP in there. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We are now going to look for different search results using the same term. Now, in some cases, you may find that the numbers may not necessarily be different, or they may not necessarily coincide with finding what look to be more limited search results. What we're trying to do is to find more relevant search results. So in this particular case, we're going to use the term all in text. And all in text actually is written in at the beginning of a search term, and a colon is used. You can actually put a space in there. What's going to happen is we're going to hit enter, and then we're going to get a different set of search terms. And what we're saying is that we want these three terms to definitely be on the page. Now we can also use a similar term, and we can use the term in text. Now, in text is slightly different. You're going to notice that the search results are actually going to change. And so, in this case, making sure that you eliminate the space in between the colon and the actual words will make a difference when you're using the in text command. So again, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get a limited number of more relevant results. And these terms, you're saying to Google, show me the results, but only if they have all these three words together. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Another way to get more specific information in a search is to use the all in title command. And basically what you're doing is you're telling Google, bring back only those pages that have our keywords in the title of the page. And so typically if someone names a page behind certain keywords, that information is going to be relevant to those keywords. So we're safe in looking for specifically those pages that have our keywords. And the way that you look for that search parameter is that you will type in at the very beginning, all in title. That'll be one word. Going to put a colon. You're going to put a space after the word. Then you'll click enter. You're going to find that all of the pages that have the name, in this particular case low carb dieting, will then come up. This is a way for you to get different search results, yet relevant to a particular search that you would not find otherwise if they didn't rank first in search in the first place. So again, you are finding other ways of looking at your keyword with diversity of information. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Another way to find relevant information is to find domains that actually have your keywords in them. And what you can do inside of Google is you can actually use the parameter all in URL. And basically what you're going to do is write in the word all in URL. Then you're going to put a colon there. You're going to put a space there. And then you'll click enter. And then once again, you're going to see a different set of search results, and you're actually going to see sometimes pages or subdirectory pages that will have your information. So again, these are going to be different search results. They're going to be highly relevant, And typically, the first searches are going to be the most relevant, and they're going to be searches again that would not normally appear in a typical Google search if you were looking for relevant information. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Typically, when we use hyperlinks on the web, we will use a word and then use that word to mask the link going back to a specific page. And that's typically called anchor text. So in some cases, a web page may have anchor text. In this case, it may have the anchor text with your keyword, and it will link back to certain sites. What we're asking Google to do when we use the all-in anchor parameter is to bring back the most relevant results that are being used as anchor text. So in this particular case, all we'll need to do is we'll write in all in anchor. Then we'll click a colon, and then we will hit enter. Now, once again, you're going to see a different set of results and a different set of top 10 results. You are looking at those sites that are being linked to using the anchor text with our keyword. It is another way and another view of getting relevance and for you to see another website that might have valuable information for your research or for competitive research. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, another way to actually look at our search information is to get more specific about where the words need to appear on the page. And we can use the around command in all caps so that we can determine the distance between terms that a word can appear. Let's take a look. So for example, we would use the term around in this case. We would use all caps. And then we're going to say that we only want there to be one word of separation between the two. So we're going to say in this case, and we're going to put that in parentheses. Now, there can't be any spaces between all of these words, so we'll need to eliminate those. There can be a space here. So we've said low carb can only be separated by one word. So now we're going to click enter. And you'll see then that our search results are going to change again. And basically what you're going to see is that there are going to be a lot more instances where the words low carb diet appear, because we've said that we only want those pages where the words have this proximity, could only have one word separating them. We could change this now to 2, and we'll get a different set of search results. And you'll see that here. So the around command gives us control over how our keyword can appear in the search results when Google retrieves our results. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now, in some cases, you will get to the end of your search results, and you'll see a message from Google that says something like this, that in order to show you the most relevant results, they've omitted some. However, you may want to have it so that you can get all of the search results shown. If you're going to do that, you're going to append the URL with a certain parameter. So we're going to place the cursor here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put in there filter equals 0 after the and sign. And so what we're going to do now is we're then going to click enter. Google will typically want to know if you are a robot. You'll say you're not, and you'll click submit. And what you're going to find then is that you're going to have a lot more search results showing at the very beginning, and they're not going to be filtered. So you'll have a different set of search results, and you'll actually be able to tell which ones might be more relevant to what you're doing than the regular search results from Google. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Typically, when you are doing a search, Google will attempt to bring you the most relevant results. And in some cases, it may or may not bring back the exact word. In this particular case, you can see that where the search term is dieting, and in some cases, Google brings back low carb diet. believing that this is most relevant. However, we may very well want our search to reflect only low-carb dieting, and we can actually take care of that by going into our URL. We're going to go all the way to the end, and then we're going to put into the end & TBS equals LI:1. So we're going to put all that information into the end of our URL. And what we're going to do is we're then going to click enter. Now what's going to happen is that we are then going to only get the words low carb dieting, and we're going to get those words verbatim. And again, what we've done is we've eliminated the words low carb diet because we're assuming we want specifically these words low carb dieting. It is a way for us to narrow down our search even more and get better search results. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now, it may be that we want to find out if there is any local activity around our keyword. Now, in this particular case, our keyword is low carb dieting. So what we want to do is we want to go to the URL. We want to hit Control End, come all the way to the end, and then we're going to put in another search parameter to append our URL. And you'll see that URL is &TBM equals LCL. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit local. And what you'll see here is that Google says that there are no local results. But the search engine does go to look to try to find anything within its database that says that there's something local with respect to these keywords. So again, this is a great way of being able to even drill down even further into your keyword and to see its local relevance. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. When you are looking for third-party verifiable information as well as scientific studies, you can actually visit googlescholar.com. You can find it at scholar.google.com. And you'll want to use this search area as if you were looking for studies, or if you were looking for surveys, or if you were looking for research. So for example, if we were going to look for research on low carb dieting, we could put in our search term. And what you're going to find is you're going to find a number of different kind of results. Primarily, what you're going to get access to are academic and some professional studies. In some cases, you will not get the entire article. You may get access to some of the findings, and you may have to go beyond that or have a subscription to get the actual study. However, in most cases, you can look at the abstract, and the abstract will give you the basic and the most concise understanding of what the study actually says. And in most cases, this will probably be enough for you to summarize what the study says as well as to quote it in something that you are doing. Google Scholar will also allow you to create an alert where you can have new items sent to you. But one of the most important things that you'll want to do is you'll want to be able to take your operators and you'll be able to use them inside of Google Scholar. So in some cases, we might use a symbol operator and get a different set of results. So you want to take your cheat sheet and you want to use different sets of some of the search elements to use it to find different items in Google Scholar. But taking your search term will actually give you the opportunity to get third-party verifiable information that you can use as proof and or social proof. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, another way to use Google Scholar is also to look for legal research. And in order to do that, all you really need to do is to click the case law button. And what you can do is you can actually search for the level of court that you are going to be looking for the information from. So for example, if we wanted to select a certain court, we can actually select that court inside of Google Scholar to modify our search results. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our search term in the box. So in this particular case, we're just going to put in dieting to see if there is any case law regarding that. And you'll notice then that we have case law that is related to dieting. Now, of course, we'll want to narrow this down and we'll want to use our search operators, but this is a very good way of being able to do research behind the scenes on certain topics. We can also search for topics at the federal level and or at the state level. So what you want to do is you want to narrow down where you are looking for law or precedent and then do your search within Google Scholar. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You are now looking at Google Books Ngram Viewer. You can visit this site by books.google.com/ngrams. It's spelled a little weird. You'll have to type in the letter N, then GRAMS. And basically what Ngram Viewer does is it calculates the popularity of a term within books from the years 1800 to 2000. So in some cases, you may find that your term may have been part of a published book, and you can write in your term and it is another view of just how popular the term is. And so we can write in our term, low carb dieting, then we can click enter. And actually, you'll see that this was a term that did not appear before 2000. And so what we can also do in some cases is we can change the case, although that probably will not necessarily change this particular term. Now, of course, if we were to just use the term dieting, that word would probably appear lots of times in the course of the last years. And you'll notice that the term really picked up in popularity after the 1960s. So again, this is just another way of getting another view of your keyword. And if your keyword was one of those terms that would have been used prior to 2000, you may be able to get some insight on it. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we are looking at Google Correlate, which is actually a subset of the site Google Trends. And basically what Google Correlate does is it gives you an idea of what search term actually runs in parallel in popularity to your term. You can actually look at the term over time. You can actually look at the term geographically also. So for example, if we were to look at our term, low carb dieting, we'll be able to look at which search terms ran parallel in terms of its popularity also close to low carb dieting. We can also look at it not only over time, but we can also look at it geographically. So we can look at which terms actually ran together with low carb dieting and which states those terms were most popular. So again, this is another view of our search term, and it's a way of being able to look at how popular a term is relative to other things in a particular area. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You are now looking at the search term, Think Insights, and there is a website that Google has called Think with Google. If you go to thinkwithgoogle.com, what this site actually is it gives us the marketing significance of certain topics in internet marketing as well as marketing in general. So what we can do is we can always look at our term in light of some of the research that Google has been doing. All we'll need to do is to use the search and then write in our search term. Now, it may be that our term doesn't have any particular relevance, so we might need to broaden it. And in this particular case, we might have to broaden it again. And what we'll start to see is that there is insight on broader terms when it comes to marketing from Google's perspective. Think with Google is divided into three basic areas: consumer insights, marketing research, and advertising channels. So if you want to understand your search term from a marketing perspective, you'll want to go to Think with Google and then place it inside of the parameters. And then if you don't find it, continue to broaden the term until you find the basic structure of where Google intersects your term. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now, another way to look at our keyword is to look at it within a patent search. And Google has a patent search at patents.google.com. and you can actually access that website. And what you're going to do is you're going to write in your term. In some cases, you may have to narrow the term. In some cases, you may have to broaden the term. But as you write it out, what Google will do is it will actually go and look for patents with those search terms. Now, what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to look at all of the different ways that individuals and companies have looked to patent on those search terms. You can look at the top results by filing date, who filed, who the inventors were. You can also narrow down the terms inside of Google Patents as well as do it by date. So again, if you want to look at some pre-commercial activity on your keyword, you can actually do it through the patent search at patents.google.com. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. In conclusion, we are now looking at research.google.com, and there is a certain subset of this site that will give you access to the published papers from individuals working at Google. And quite a bit of the work that Google does is research, and you can actually go to look for your search term to see if there is any research significance through Google. Now, of course, you may have to broaden your term or you may have to narrow it down, but you will typically be able to find that there has been some research done in proximity to a topic that you are looking at. So in this particular case, we're going to write in low carb. And this may not be of significance, so we might have to broaden out the search. And you'll see 19 published papers from individuals from Google. Now again, this doesn't mean that it will have direct relevance in terms of the research that you're doing, but it will give you insight as to what the people at Google are doing around your search term and how it relates to how it's being treated in the index. Most of the research is machine learning as well as marketing, but occasionally you will find some research that is behavioral in its approach. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you either in another video or in another course.